Dynamics. This is a song to learn. So let's get started. Tuning is A440, so standard tuning. See, our first part sounds like this. Now we're going to be playing a D5 chord. So this is going to be playing the open D string. You're going to have your first finger on the second fret of the G, and then your middle finger is going to be here on the third fret of the B. And we just hit those three strings together. Then we're going to play, that's going to be third fret of the D, fourth fret of the D, and then come back to that chord. So all together sounds like this. Play that again. And then we play this cool melody. Let's go over the arpeggiated melody part. So your middle finger is going to be on the third fret of the low E, and we do a, so it's going to be low E, third fret, open G, and then you're going to have your ring finger on the third fret of the B, and we play. And we come out of that, after we play E, G, B, come to open A, go back to open G, go to the second fret of the A string and play the open G again, then go to the third fret of the A string and then play the open G again. So it sounds like you're pivoting back and forth from the open G to all these bass notes. So we do a like that, then we go to the A, the B, C, back to the B, back to the A, and then we come back to the G before we go back in and repeat that again at the D5. So repeats again. Check it out. I've got a Patreon channel. It's $3 a month. It's going to include backing tracks, guitar tablature for all the lessons that I do on YouTube. I'm going to do other music lessons that have to do with technique, music theory, chord building, guitar psychology, practice habits, taking our favorite licks from our heroes and trying to turn them into something that we can change them up and make them our own musical application. It's going to be tons of different stuff, so I'll leave the description or the link in the description. Okay, so after we go through this main intro part goes through 2 times. Repeats again. Then we go into the verse. Now, this verse goes on for a very long time, and once you learn this verse, you have learned literally 90% of the song, because that's pretty much the groove of the song is based around this little rhythm, and it's a basic blues shuffle, but the groove is so important in this song, and I didn't realize until I revisited this song, revisited AC/DC and studying. I haven't done that in a while. Is that groove is everything. And I actually, by the time I got to the 5-minute mark of the song, I was like, wow, my rhythm is off a little bit. So this is a really great tune to work on no matter what level you're at. It doesn't have to be beginner, intermediate, it could be advanced. I think sometimes going back and, restudying some of the things that we may have studied when we first started playing guitar, you learn something new. And one thing I learned about this tune is, the groove, and we're going to talk about dynamics here in a second. So what you're doing here, so let's talk about this riff. So we could do it a couple ways. We can just have our first finger here on the 2nd fret of the G, and we're going to play, this is a D5. And we're going to be going back from this to this. So that's 4th fret of the G and open D. Now this would be considered I guess this will be considered a D6 chord here. So this is D5 to D6 and back to D5. So the rhythm sounds like this. So I'm just switching back and forth on those chords. The D5, the D6. Now I should say it's a 4/4 beat, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But the chord, once it switches over, it comes in just behind the beat on the 1. So we have that extra strum right there. So I want to play that really slowly. Of the tempo. So you can kind of tell, it's just automatically for me, I almost have to kind of bob my head because it's such a great groove. And it goes through for a long, long time. Now, we could spice it up a little bit if you wanted to. You could add this extra D note right here and play. Now, I kind of like doing it that way because I can get a little bit of an up strum. But you could totally do all this down strum. Or you can do a little up strum. I would say probably if you're more on the beginner to intermediate level, I would probably start with all down strums. Once you get a little bit better, you can throw that up strum in randomly. So that goes through, gosh, a lot of bars. But the nice thing is, by the time we get to the chorus is pretty much what we've already learned. So we go back into, so after we played this for a long time, it's just a G. So we play basically, again, 3rd fret of the low E. We're going to let that middle finger dampen the A string. We're not even going to fret that. But we're going to have an open D, an open G, and then we're going to fret on the 3rd fret of the B. So we play that through, and then we play that same melody again. Goes back into the rhythm we already learned. Repeats again to the G. Holds, repeat the same melody. Changes right here. We add an extra strum on the G so it does a and then we go back in the melody. Because again, but this time it changes. We go. So it just repeats that melody 2 times at the very end. So I'll play it slowly. Repeats again. Just a little bit after this. The tempo goes up. So we have a... So, but nothing's really that different. I'm adding maybe another little down strum in there, but you can play it just like we did before, but just faster. I kind of like to do it up. And all I'm doing is just adding an extra down strum there. You know, slowly it would sound like this. Play it either way. Either way's fine. Like I said, it's a common, you know, blues type shuffle pattern, but the groove is so good. I know I keep coming back to that. So let's talk about this a little bit. So, you know, there's two things about this song. The groove's one of them, but the other part is the dynamics. And dynamics has to do with when something is played louder or softer. Okay, so if we play that very first chord, we kind of hit that hard. But when we go to the melody, hard strum again, then light. Then when we get into that rhythm, we're doing more of an aggressive, you know, kind of strum. Now, in the beginning of the song, when the verse is going through the first time, and we're playing that rhythm, the guys are playing it really tight. They are just, they're kind of, they're really accenting those parts, and they're stopping that chord from ringing, so it's... So let's say that we're going to fast forward to the very end of the song where we're kind of chorusing out and the tempo's up. You'll notice that the rhythm gets looser. So they're not quite stopping those chords. They're kind of letting them ring as long, the further that part goes out. So it starts off. I don't know if you can kind of hear that. Let me play it again, see if you can tell the difference. We get looser. It changes it a little bit, and it completely changes the color of the song. It's these little subtle things like that. Even though we're not doing a real complex tune here, there's not a lot of parts to this song. But there's a lot of groove to it. There's a lot of timing, a lot of rhythm, and dynamics. So if you take anything away from this song, look at those two parts. Because I think